What's up, guys, and welcome back to Skins in the Game. We have another episode, number 83. We're getting up there. We're getting close to that 100 mark. But we got J-Dubs in the house. How you doing today, J-Dubs?
Doing good. Living large. We hit mid-70s today. I like it.
So, awesome. Mid-70s. Nice. That's 3 days in a row. Tim's late. Oh, yeah, sorry. I was starting a poll right at the time. I did start a poll. Who should be our QB, Sam Howell or someone else? So make sure you vote in that poll. We'll talk about that later with the different quarterback possible scenarios. We'll, of course, talk about the OC, and we'll talk about a little of the owners. The first round of bidding was in, and then we'll finish up with the playoffs and Weddle. A lot to talk about on the 6 playoff games in Super Wild Card Weekend, now they're calling it. It's not Wild Card Weekend anymore. It's Super Wild Card Weekend with the 6 games instead of the old 4 games. But
well, that remains to be seen.
All right, well, we will start every show with the dad joke of the week.
Why don't pirates play cards?
Why?
Because the captain's always standing on the deck.
You can't get to the cars? You have no access to them because he's standing on them? Well played. Beautiful joke.
He's standing on the deck.
The standing on the deck.
I got it. You don't get everyone, but...
You don't get everyone. That's too funny. That's true.
That's 2 for 2, but they were both pirate jokes, so maybe I should just go back to the pirate jokes every week because you seem to get them. So
is that true? Was last week's a pirate joke that I got?
Yeah, the pirate walked into the bar with the steering wheel down his pants.
Oh, yeah. Driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. Got it. I do remember that joke now.
I knew it would come back.
Awesome. All right, well, what do you got this week?
Well, we're going to go back to Brock Purdy. There was only one other Mr. Irrelevant that ever took a snap at a quarterback. Brock Purdy became first Mr. Irrelevant in history to ever complete a forward pass. But not only did he do that, but in his playoff game, he had the most TDs in NFL history for a rookie, and he's the youngest quarterback ever with 2 or more passing TDs and a rushing TD in a playoff game. Ever.
I mean, I have thoughts on that game for sure, but it is a great story. It is crazy to think that a lot of people are saying this, but the Niners are still real contenders, rather. And they have Brock Purdy, the Mr. Irrelevant, as their starting quarterback. And some people would still... Actually, I think they're the betting favorite coming out of the NFC, even over the Eagles, who, for the most of the year, has been the number 1 team, if not in the conference, in the league in some parts. So, interesting.
Well, and let's make no mistake. He's playing for a great team, and Kyle Shanahan is great. But let's look at his stats. 18 for 30. 332 yards passing with 11.1 average, 3 passing TDs, a 131.5 quarterback rating. He had 4 rushes, 16 yards, a rushing TD, and a total of 4 TDs. And had a 4th down TD that was dropped, so he could have had 1 more. But I'm not going to get into that. But those stats right there, I take them from most quarterbacks in a playoff game.
Oh yeah, especially your first one ever. But yeah, I definitely have thoughts on that. We'll get more to that on that game. But that is an interesting one of Mr. Irrelevant. No other Mr. Irrelevant has ever thrown a forward pass. You said?
Yeah, there's been one other quarterback as Mr. Irrelevant that took a snap, but he didn't throw a pass. But he is the first Mr. Irrelevant to actually complete a pass, and he followed up with a pretty good showing.
Fair enough. What up, Noah? What up, Rennie? What up, Real Progress in Action? What up, Paul? Just imagine if Washington made the playoffs and beat San Francisco. That would be wild. That would have been wild. But that's not the world we live in. All right. My what do you got is also about the quarterbacks. I thought this was interesting. Right now, out of the last 8, we do not have a quarterback over the age of 30. And this tweet right here, I like what they said. The next generation has arrived. But I was thinking about it. I was like, this is a young group of quarterbacks remaining. We don't have Tom Brady anymore. We don't have Aaron Rodgers. No Matt Stafford. No, I don't even know who else. No Russell Wilson. Kirk Cousins got eliminated, so we don't have him. We don't have Drew Brees, who obviously retired a couple years ago. No Big Ben. No nothing. Like, no of the older generation. The oldest quarterback right now is actually Dak Prescott at 29 years old. He is the vet of this group, which was pretty wild to me. But you have Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy both 23, Jalen Hurts 24, Jones 25, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen 26, Patrick Mahomes 27, and Dak Prescott 29. So I thought that was a pretty interesting
Well, and I think they said this is the last time
ordeal.
since 2011 or 2012 that Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady have not won a playoff game.
Yeah, I guess that's because, last year Tampa Bay beat. Who did Tampa beat last year in the first round? They lost the second round, but they did win the first. And then 2 years ago they beat us. Well, they won the whole Super Bowl, but they at least won one game. But yeah, I don't remember who they won in the first round now. I don't remember who they beat, but yeah, they lost
I just
to the.
know that.
They had to have lost to the Rams. They lost to the Rams last year in the second round.
And of course,
anyway,
we can talk about this later too. But again, we get the Aaron Rodgers banter. If they're rebuilding, I'm not going to be a part of that. Blah blah blah. So we'll do the same. We can cover a week or two ahead from now after the Super Bowl is over. But we have the Aaron Rodgers drama that we've had every year for the last 4 years. I'm not staying with Green Bay, blah, blah. So
2 quarterbacks in a row. Same thing with Brett Favre. They had a lot of drama there too. But all right, let's hop into. We got a new owner coming. Or do you believe this? You know what? Before they had the first round of bidding. We'll touch on this real quick. Jeff Bezos apparently did not put a bid in for the team yet. He has not been eliminated from the running. But for the first round, he did not put a bid. Right now, the leading bid is Josh Harris and his group of $6.3 billion. He's the owner of the Flyers, the Sixers, and I think he has a soccer team or something as well. But that's who he owns right now, and he's apparently the front runner. But are you even convinced? Like right now, everyone is convinced that Dan Snyder is gone. Like this is basically done. It's over. Are you convinced yet here, like that he's going to fully sell this team, or is he just trying to play an angle?
Well, I heard he set up residence in England because there's different tax implications. I do. I actually think that he is done. That he is so over this that he wants to get his $6 billion and walk away and sail around on his yacht. But I did hear, and I think this is the reason Jeff Bezos didn't put a bid in on the last round, is because I've read that Dan Snyder does not want to sell the team to Jeff Bezos. I think it has to do with the Washington Post and him being vindictive. But he's like, I'm not selling the team to Jeff Bezos. So, but if he can get $6.8 billion, I think it's nothing but a headache for him. I think he's done. There's no, what did he buy it for? $600 million? I think when he bought it. So
I think there's definitely some sort of sale going. It's almost 100% that there's definitely some sort of sale. But does he try to keep any of it? Like, does he try to remain in this ownership? Like, that's another interesting ordeal. Like, maybe he still is just.
He would do it out of spite. He's a spiteful guy, so it could be
keep 1%. So he's still a part owner?
You might be right.
That'd be too funny.
Oh, it's
But no,
entirely possible. He is a spiteful guy, so I would not be surprised. But part of him's got to also think, if I can get $6 billion for this team or more, then I can walk away and not have to deal with it anymore. You know, I think part of him likes to be a NFL owner since it's such only 32 teams. So that's going to drive him to some degree, but I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
True.
But I will say this. I would not be surprised. Go ahead.
I would not. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying I would not.
No,
be surprised.
I was convinced he was going to. I was pretty convinced before he was going to sell. A part of me only asked the question just as the jaded Skins fan that I am. That, all right, maybe I shouldn't be this confident that this is going to happen. Maybe I should step back. And because it seems like whenever I get really confident in this team or that something's going to happen, the NFL loves to throw a curveball at me and say, nope, just kidding. And so I as a jaded Skins fan, I just felt like I needed to ask the question to maybe send out the good karmas, the good jujus out there, that this is actually happening, and I don't need to worry.
No,
but okay, so Jeff Bezos did not put it. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, part of the driving factor on this, I think, is there are still a lot of potential litigations, and maybe he also realizes or thinks, maybe he's wrong, but thinks if I just sell the team, lick my wounds, well, $6 billion, you're not really licking your wounds, but I'm going to back off, walk off into the sunset, and then all this other stuff's going to go away. Maybe.
It would. It totally would. I don't see why it wouldn't, I guess. Except unless he actually did cheat the other owners out of money, and in that case, they may come after a portion of that 6.3 or 7 billion or whatever it is to pay back to the league. So maybe it's a good thing that he's getting as much money as possible because they could try to take $1 billion out of it or something and disperse it throughout the league that he cheated or something. I don't know. But a big settlement for the women as well.
But I'm not sure that the owners on the back rooms aren't saying, dude, sell the team, go away. You're a pariah right now. Sell the team and go away, and we'll let it go. I would not be surprised about that either, because
none of
the owners like to hear this.
Well, do they have to? Like, I feel like they already have the leverage. They don't really need to. It's not like. As I said, it seems like everybody's already convinced. It already seems to happen. I don't even know if they need that leverage to say, go away and I don't need to, and I won't pursue you. I feel like they could say, no, you're going and you're going to pay us back and you're going to be okay with it and take your $6 billion and go over to England and don't come.
Too.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting. Yeah. I am not a fan of this Josh Harris situation. I don't know. I mean, yes, every owner that we get will be either Dan Snyder or better, because you can't get worse than Dan Snyder. It's impossible. It's impossible. He's literally so bad he's getting kicked out of the league. Right? That's how bad he is. So you can't get worse. It's just a matter of, do you stay level or do you actually take a step up? Josh Harris will be a step up, but I am concerned about him because right now the Flyers have only made the playoffs one time in his tenure as owner. And before that, they were basically in the playoffs every single year. Maybe like a year here or there that they missed. So that's concerning. The Sixers made a horrible trade for James Harden that, yeah, they win a lot of games in the regular season, but then get knocked out the first or second round year in and year out. So that's concerning, and I don't even know what his soccer team does. But I don't know. It is what it is. If he owns it, there's nothing I can do about it. The other... I'm just really disappointed that Jeff Bezos right now might actually be out because of the first obvious reason is Dan Snyder may have convinced everybody that he's not selling the team to Jeff. But the other thing I heard is that the owner of the Seattle Seahawks passed away, and they're trying to get his estate settled. And Jeff Bezos has the Amazon headquarters in Seattle. I don't know where he's from. He might be even from that area too, where he actually might be more interested in owning the Seattle Seahawks than owning Washington. So he may have pulled himself out of the Washington bid to go ahead and set himself up to buy the Seahawks when available. But yeah,
By the way, Red Ball Manders, I agree with you. Lamar Jackson is not worth 50. I just want to ask a question really quick. Tim, you're synthesizing to me. Okay, every now and then, I want to know if that's my connection or if anybody else is hearing that.
As in, like, the connection doesn't seem very good?
Well, no, most of the time, like 80% of the time, it's fine. But then I'll kind of get dead air, and then your voice will synthesize like wah, 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 when you're talking. And maybe it's my connection, but I was just curious if it's me.
Yeah, you're definitely, your connection's a little suspect as well. Yeah, in the chat, let us know if I'm messing up or is it only J-Dub's messing up in the chat as far as their connection.
Yeah, because if it's me, I'll try to fix it.
Yeah, try to work on your connection, because I was noticing that too, but it wasn't super, super bad, but it's definitely not great. Hopefully it's okay. Okay, yeah, Rennie's saying that I'm good. It might just be your connection if you can get that situated. But what up, JT and P Uncut? Okay, so put it this way. Say the new owner comes in, we get a new OC, whatever the season is a success, there's no reason for the owner to meddle. So really it comes down to Ron getting a new OC and winning. Yeah, that's... Yeah, it's your connection, Dad, is what other people are saying. So yeah, hopefully we can work on that. But it's okay. All right. But Red Marble Anders, I appreciate the super chat. Lamar Jackson wants $50 million. Who does he think he is? This is a very tough situation. Very tough. Because Lamar Jackson, to me, is a stud. And I may have to repeat some of this when J-Dubs gets back, but I'll keep talking for now. He is a stud weapon and player. Right? Huge. It's just, the problem is how he plays the position. It basically lends him to be more of a weapon rather than a quarterback. And what does that mean? You there, J-Dubs?
Yeah, I just got back. We'll see if it's better. I just reset everything. I saw from Antoinette that it's mine, so hopefully it's better. I don't know if I sound better, but if I mess up again, let me know and I'll try again. But I just reset the network connection.
Gotcha.
So
you definitely are blurry a little bit right at the moment. It sounds somewhat okay, but it's the... No, not the voice is blurry. Like the connection seems... All right, it seems like you're kind of focusing in as well. But anyway, real quick, I was just talking about Lamar Jackson, that he's basically how he position. I just realized he said Lamar Jackson instead of Jackson. That's pretty funny. I didn't realize that. But
I kind of like that.
What I just said, though, is he's a tremendous weapon. He's like a top-tier weapon in the league, right? There's not very many weapons better than Lamar.
When he's on the field.
Correct. But my point is that he plays the game not like a quarterback, but as a weapon. Right? And so when you play as a weapon, you increase your chances of getting hurt. And it's one thing to not have your number one receiver or a really good receiver or your running back, right? Or something like that. It's one thing to not have that, and it definitely affects your offense, but it's easier to work around than if you don't have your quarterback. So if you're tying up $50 million into a player that plays in a risky situation where he may not be there in January, yeah, he could win you a bunch of games throughout the regular season, but then once it counts, and now all of a sudden you're out a $50 million player, that's extremely dangerous for whoever the franchise is that pays him, right? So it sucks because it sucks for Lamar, because I do think in a sense, he's worth it because he is amazing quarterback / weapon that you could have. He could kill you in the run game. Like, he's arguably a top 5 running back. If you just put him in the running back position, he's arguably in there. And he can throw in a top half of the league quarterback. Right? And
no, I get it.
Yeah, so it's tough with Lamar. But all that to be said, I do not want Lamar whatsoever on my team. You know, I hope he goes and succeeds somewhere else.
No.
I am totally out of the Lamar sweepstakes because not only are you going to have to pay him $50 million, the Ravens are going to franchise tag him. They're not going to just let him walk. So now you're trading a first or 2 firsts plus more picks or this or that. Like, you're going to have to trade a lot and then on top of that pay him a bunch of money, just like the Browns did with Deshaun Watson. And I don't like that whatsoever. I would rather just stick to it. And it does look like everybody in the chat is pretty much agreeing right now that 100%, 18 votes are in, 100% of you, when I said who should be our QB, everybody's picking Sam Howell should be. We're going to get into the OC as well.
I voted too, just so you know.
Oh, okay. So I'm still going to ask so we can talk about it. Is there any argument for you in your mind, or do you think there's any validity to not going with Howell and going ahead and making another move for a quarterback, whether it be trading up in the draft and try to go get a young guy? Well, Sam Howell's young, but a top, highly touted prospect, I guess you can say. Whether you think they're better than Howell or not is a different discussion. But at least at this point, a top 10 pick, or do you go and get a veteran instead? Like, is there any other? Let me ask you this one last way to put it, and you can answer it this way. Is there anyone that would get you off of the Sam Howell trade? Is there anything that you would be like, you know what, I would make that move and be okay out there?
No, and I'll tell you why. And it has nothing to do with who may be out there. We need an offensive line.
Yeah.
So I want concentration on the offensive line, maybe some linebackers, but give an offensive line. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. If we had a decent offensive line, I'd be fine with Heineke.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Sam Howell. I want you put him behind the offensive line that Kirk Cousins has. He's going to be successful. He's a gamer. He's got the arm. He's got the vision. We have to, and this is what I was talking about last week with Ron Rivera, that he was like, it's a process. It takes time. Well, he's built up so many of the other points. Now builds an offensive line, and I think we get an offensive line that's decent next year, and we're going places with Sam Howell. And I'll say it, everybody can skewer me on the chat, but I'll say, even with Heineke, you get us an offensive line with the weapons we have, we're going to go places. So forget about quarterback. We got the guys in the house, whether you sign, I know Heineke's a free agent, whatever.
Yeah.
Leave Hal there. And I think we're going to build us an offensive line.
Mm-hmm. No,
anything else.
Yep. You know where I sat on the offensive line earlier than most other people. So, yeah, 100% agree. And that's where I sit. And I love what you said. Or I didn't know this is true. And I hope you're right, Rennie. Okay, and I did read this comment earlier, but I wanted to make sure I read it in a good rhythm here. This could be massive. So right now, the Lions offensive coordinator, which his name is Ben Johnson, is staying apparently in Detroit. If true, that is massive. Why? I think Ron only has one more season here. And we could have just gotten lucky and dodged a bullet if Ben Johnson wants to wait one more season before he gets a head coaching job, because he is a top candidate in a lot of people's boards right now. What he did in Detroit's offense has been tremendous, in my opinion. So, if he stays, we stick with Sam Howell. In my mind, and then to tie this into the Sam Howell thing, in my mind, the only thing that makes sense is staying with Sam Howell. And why?
Yep.
If he works, perfect. You have him for 2 more seasons under contract on his rookie deal after he succeeds this year, and you move forward with the young quarterback. If he doesn't work out, now I go all in the draft next year because, as you said, in this offseason and theoretically in our perfect world, we've built our offensive line. We've added a couple more defensive pieces. We have the weapons under contract with Terry McLaurin signing his extension and Jahan Dotson on his rookie deal. We have Brian Robinson also on his rookie deal. So we have the weapons. Now you go. That's when you go ahead and go all in, trade your 2 or 3 first-round picks or whatever to make sure you can get as high as you can in the draft. And there's 2 different quarterbacks. One that I know that I love. The other one I've heard is also tremendous. Drake May is the one that I've heard about. And then Caleb Williams, I think, is an absolute stud coming out next year. And I think, I know Caleb Williams is better than anything that's coming out this year, and Drake may be the same. So if we can get into that top 2 discussion, top 2 picks, then let's go ahead and go make that move. But obviously what I would hope for is that Sam Howell's our future, and then we can continue to build on him, just like the Eagles did this year with Jalen Hurts. 2nd-round pick, young player. They've built, and now Here they are, MVP candidate until he got hurt. So that's my ideal situation here. Now the offensive coordinators. So offensive coordinators.
I agree with you.
There's nothing to disagree with. So of course you did. No, I'm just kidding. There's 2 guys that have already declined the job. Jim Caldwell and Darrell Bevell. So Caldwell, former Colts head coach, and I think he's coached a couple of other places as well. He's apparently only looking for head coaching opportunities, so he says. Darrell Bevell was an interesting guy from Miami. He's the passing game coordinator for Miami this last season. He's an interesting dude. So they've already declined. The frontrunners seem to be Ken Sampisi and Pat Shurmur. Have you read anything else that makes you think there might be another guy in the mix?
No, but I want a no-name. I want somebody pull him up out
like
of the
Scott
ranks.
Turner.
No, Scott Turner was the OC. No, I know you're kidding, but no, I want them to go find that diamond in the rough where it's like a quarterback's coach or someone. I want them to be creative and
a tight ends coach
off the shelf, like whatever. I don't care.
Yeah,
find somebody that knows how to run an offense that's creative and out of the box. And I don't want to pull somebody off of. I was like somebody said Bieniemy from Kansas City.
Bieniemy. Yep.
And it's like, do you think he's going to leave Kansas City to come and be as the OC in KC? He's going to leave and come to us as the OC? No, he wants a head coaching job. That's another discussion. But pull somebody completely unknown where when we hear their name, we're going to go, really? That guy? That's who I want. Because most of these guys in the NFL live and breathe football. They have their ideas. Stop going for the retreads and go out and pick somebody where people afterwards go, damn, that was a good pick. Kind of like Kyle Shanahan, O'Donnell, and
right.
What's his name? Sorry, the Rams.
Man, we are in a.
I heard that.
Go ahead.
What?
I was just saying we're in a bubble. A bubble. We've had 26 votes, and literally 100% of us all have picked Sam Howell. Like that's the direction that it seems like everybody in the chat wants to go. I don't know if I've ever had a poll that has 100% this deep into 26 votes in, but here we are. Sam Howell seems to be, and that 27th vote just came in. Still Sam Howell. So big.
But
time,
I want to say, I think we talked. Did we talk about this last week? That Sean McVay is done with the Rams.
We did mention that. Is that official yet, or is it still kind of like just rumors?
Well, I think he's saying that I'm not hanging around for a rebuild, and the Rams have to do a rebuild. So what I've heard is no, it's not official, but he's basically saying, no, I'm not staying around for a retread.
A rebuild,
So
yeah.
where
Which
does
is weird
Sean
because
McVay end up?
I feel like that would be the fun part for a coach. Build your own team. Like fix, like, you can mold this into whatever you want. Here's your rebuild. Take it for what you will. But he's apparently that, I don't know, that's weird. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this. So Ken Sampese is obviously a guy that could be promoted. He was our quarterback's coach under Scott Turner. Easy promotion. I think that's the fallback plan, in my opinion. If nobody else wants the job, they're just going to promote Ken Sampese. And if Ken Sampese does get promoted, then we know that everyone declined the job. Like, everybody was saying, we do not want to go to Washington. Absolutely not. And honestly, for good reason, because you don't know the situation with the owner. You could sign a contract for an offensive coordinator job, and a week later, the new owner all of a sudden is taking over in a crazy turn of events, and then all of a sudden Ron's fired, you're fired, everything's gone, and if you're already hired by another team, now you're on the block with everybody else already probably hiring most positions. You could be in real trouble for a job. So that, and
by the way, if somebody
go ahead.
wants to fire me and pay me millions of dollars to walk away, I'd be okay with it.
True.
Right?
Well, you're not going to get. Yeah, and that's true. And you may get an old guy that's willing to just get a paycheck and leave, a la Pat Shurmur, who's also not in the league right now. But if you're not going to get the up and comer, then once his opportunity to sign this kind of a situation is basically my point. But skin them alive seems Shurmur has been hired, will be revealed soon. I don't know what inside sources he has, but that's what he seems to think. A lot of people now, it seems like Pat Shurmur is the front runner. So I went through and just looked at his offenses real quick, is what he did. So year by year, they rank offenses in just yards per yards. Yeah, total yards. All right. So in 2000, also, this is crazy. This will be his 5th offensive coordinator job. I don't know how many coaches have had that. And how old is he? No, dude, I thought I was looking at Pat Shurmur. I was looking at Joe Brady. Hold on. Pat Shurmur. I just had this up earlier. Pat Shurmur is 57, and this could be his 5th offensive coordinator job to date, which honestly already does not bode very well. But here we go. He was the offensive coordinator in the Rams in 2009 and 2010. In his first year, he had a 29th ranked offense, and the next year he had a 26th ranked offense. I didn't look into all of the minutiae, and, circumstances and whatever, blah, 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 but it's not a great start. In 2013, though, he had the 2nd best offense, and they were number 1 in rushing that year, which we all now know from Ron's press conference that he wants to be a run-first team. And throughout this, I looked, and he definitely ran a lot and did not pass a lot compared to other people. His rushing yards to passing yards ratio was pretty heavily.
And what team was that?
Towards rushing yards. He's been on several teams, but the first 2 teams were the Rams, and then the Eagles in 2013. He was the 2nd best, but he started to decline after that. He was the 5th in 2014, which is still good, but then the 12th in 2015 before that coaching staff got fired. So he regressed throughout.
So that was
Vikings
all Philly, 12 to 15.
Correct. Or 13 to 15. So
Okay.
13, 14, and 15 through 3 seasons. He was 2nd, 5th, and then 12th. Vikings in 2016, he was hired in the middle of the season. The offense was not very good. Also, they were last in rushing. So whoever the offensive coordinator before him must have had a completely different mindset because he ended up with a 28th offense, last ranked rush defense. But the next season, he won Assistant Coach of the Year. He had the 11th best offense. This is the Case Keenum year when they went 13-3 with Case Keenum.
Right.
In 2017, the 11th ranked offense in there, and he had a top 10 rushing offense as well. Then the last stint he had was in the Broncos. He was the 23rd ranked offense in 2020, and then the 19th offense in 2021. So this was with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater as the quarterbacks there. I like Drew Lock, but he didn't really bring out Drew Lock in a great way, in my opinion. But he also didn't do a great job with Daniel Jones. He was the head coach with Daniel Jones, and he was a complete flop while Pat Shurmur was there. Granted, he wasn't just the offensive coordinator, so maybe you give him a little bit more leeway, that because obviously there's a lot more going on when you're the head coach than if you were just focusing on the offense. I would be a little bit worried with the Sam Howell development. I don't think that this is going to be a home run hire by any stretch if this is the direction we go. But I do think that this is the direction we're going to end up going with, because he runs the ball a lot. He's got experience. Ron is going to want experience right now, because this is where it's firing, right? If he doesn't win next year, he's going to get fired.
Make or break, right?
Yeah. So he's going to go experience. He doesn't want to take a chance on somebody.
That's the last year of his contract, right? Next year?
No, he still has 2 more years of his contract. I think he signed a 5-year deal. But with the new ownership, he's never won more than 8 games since he's been here. He's most likely screwed. And that also lends to say that he may not go with Sam Howell, because he doesn't want to take an experiment. He doesn't want to work with that. Do you think?
Wait, you said that?
No, I'm saying this. This is my speculation that Ron Rivera is not going to want to take a chance on Sam Howell, and I'm a bit worried.
So
about
why
that.
do you announce it then?
Yeah, why is he telling OCs that? It's a good question. Jarris made a video, an interesting one. He has a theory that Dan told him he had to. Like, they had an end-of-the-year meeting, and he thinks Dan made the decision to go with Sam Howell as his last hoorah as owner.
No, and I think that Ron Rivera ought to tell Dan to shove it where the sun don't shine, because you're not going to be here next year. How would that... I would love to be in the room and have Ron Rivera do that. Really?
Oh, man. Is Pat Shurmur the guy we're getting? That's my prediction now. I think that's the front runner there, Justin. I think that's the front runner. His last few years have been a prop. We need a QB. We need a QB guy. Yeah, I wish that was the case. Pat Shurmur would not be the QB whisperer that we're looking for. 100% not. So that's where I sit on those. Any last things on the OC position before we get into these playoff games?
Yeah, I just want to say to Justin, I made a case for Ron last week. I think he's systematically building a team, and he's an offensive line away from being good, from having a good team. So I don't know who replaces him. I would love to have next year them draft some offensive linemen, pick up some in free agency, and our defense keeps playing the way they're capable of playing, and we kick butt next year, and Ron is the coach. That's my best case scenario.
Be ideal.
Not saying it's going to happen. Yeah,
I'm actually more leaning to our best case scenario is we end up with the number 1 overall pick, get Caleb Williams, and we hire Ben Johnson. That would be. That's not going to happen, because Ron Rivera's never going to have a tanker of a season like that. I think the least amount of wins he's had is like 6 wins or something like that. Like, he's never had a season completely implode to have 2 or 3 wins. But that would be best case scenario. We hire Ben Johnson next year. We go ahead and go with, after the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, and then we become the new Kansas City, and we take off into the sunset.
Hey, great aspirations. But anyway, let's move to the playoffs.
All right, let's do the playoffs. Let's do it. So we'll just go in order. So the first game on Saturday was the division rivalry, Seattle versus San Francisco. It was a good game for a while. Seattle kept it close through about 2.5 quarters, and then the Niners completely dismantled them in the final bits.
Seahawks were ahead at halftime.
Correct. In a wild scenario, like, I think, or wait, am I getting another one mixed up? Or maybe that was the Bills situation. No, that was the Bills' wild scenario, I think. But this one was definitely crazy, too. They ended up with a 17-point second quarter. That's where the majority of their points came from. And they lost 41-23. I know you were giving some Brock Purdy hype. I have thoughts on those, but go ahead and give your thoughts on this game.
No, I think the 49ers, I'll stand behind it. I think they're going to be the NFC's they're going to represent in the Super Bowl. I think you're going to crush Dallas coming up, and I think it's going to be the Bills and the 49ers. That's just my feeling. I think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs, and it's going to be the Bills and the 49ers. I think that's what I said last week, but
I think you might have been. That might be true. I have a different take on this game. A lot of people are giving some Brock Purdy hype, right? And if you looked at the stats like you did and other people, and hey, 18 for 30, 332, 3 tugs, rushing touchdown as well in your debut playoffs. You can't ask for much better than that. That's incredible for your first-time performance.
However,
I think he was a bit nervous, and he was not very accurate with the ball. I seen him play better in weeks past. I was quite impressed with him, actually, like against us, and I think I watched him another like Thursday night game, whoever it was against. I was impressed with him a couple of times, so I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I think he actually could have, that game could have turned sideways quite easily. And also, to his benefit or whatever, his weapons are insane. Debo taking that 74, or I don't know if, I don't know if I would say his credit. It's like more of like he's the beneficiary of tremendous weapons, right? And Christian McCaffrey, 15 carries, 119 yards. Debo, 6 catches, 133 yards and a touchdown, including a 74. Like his third touchdown pass was a 5-yard pass that Debo turned into a 74-yard touchdown. You know, like it's like the Tim Tebow effect. Like, oh look, Tim Tebow beat the Steelers. Oh wait, he only threw a 10-yard pass to Demaryius Thomas, who ran it the rest of the way and scored a touchdown. But let's give the credit to Tim Tebow, right? Yeah,
what do you think about Debo, the guy that grabbed Debo? What do you think about Debo, the guy that grabbed Debo's ankle and twisted it and almost lost it on the sideline?
Yeah, that was.
Remember when Debo was down and the guy grabbed his ankle and tried.
Yeah, obviously not a good look, and I didn't blame Debo. I thought Debo was going to get the one throwing the flag on. I was actually surprised the refs got that right. That the refs called. It's actually a good point to say. I thought the refs did overall pretty good this weekend. There was a couple of things that here or there that I can harp on, but I thought they actually had a decent. They didn't throw a ton of flags. Like every game I was calling, I was noticing that. Even this game, like let's just look at an example. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, only 8 flags all game. Right? And no team had more than 30 yards of penalty yards. And that was pretty much throughout the weekend. Nobody really got slammed with penalties, except for maybe the Chargers, and we'll get into that game. But anyway, I'm a bit nervous with Brock Purdy. I think he does need to step up, because there was like one play that he ended up completing the pass that the dude was wide open down the left sideline, and he just hung that thing way too far inside. It should have been picked off. Somehow his dude went up and made the play to go get it, but there was times where he was a bit inaccurate. He does have the ability to be a gamer, kind of like a Heineke with a stronger arm, but like just buying time in the pocket. He had that one where he ran all the way to the left and then all the way to the right to finally complete a touchdown pass. So, which is awesome. Good for him. And he's in a great offense. I've seen better for him in the games before. I think that he was a bit of a struggle this last game for him, even though the stats say otherwise.
He's still a rookie.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant at that, as your point, as your what you got. I was really impressed with Geno Smith. Geno's going to be an interesting guy of what do you pay Geno, because he's just came out of nowhere this season, and 25 for 35, 253, 2 touchdowns and an interception against the number 1 pass defense, and he kept them in the game for a while until finally the wheels fell off. He also got, I think he had 2 turnovers. It almost resembled the Washington game where we were hanging in, and then Heineke threw that pick, and then Heineke fumbled, and then the game was too far out of the reach. But impressed with Geno. Considering what I thought he was, like, Geno, yeah, because Jairus is laughing at me, but yeah, considering where I thought he was, I'm surprised that it was
There's a
that he
shocker.
played as well. But anyway, all right. Any last words on that game before we move on to the next one?
Nope.
I heard J-Dub that he wants to be a mod also. Actually, I think J-Dubs is a mod now.
Wait.
A mod on the channel. Like, you can block people and ban people or silence people or whatever. You have the ability to do that in the chat. But anyway. Sorry, any last things on this game?
I don't block anybody. I welcome all comments. No, I'm good.
All right. Let's do this thing. Chargers versus Jacksonville. So this was the first one that I got wrong. I picked Jacksonville. Just kidding. I picked the Chargers. You picked Jacksonville. So we both got the first one right. This one you got right in one of the worst ways possible. The Chargers were up 27-0 and had an absolute implosion. Trevor Lawrence went from 4 picks to start the game to then 4 touchdowns to finish. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. What do you think about this one?
Oh, I enjoyed watching it. I love Trevor Lawrence. He's a gamer, and he's a big guy. I wish we could have a quarterback of his size, because he's what, 6'4"?
6'6". I think he's like 6'6".
6'6"?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big, and it just when he runs, I kind of think about Josh Allen when I see Trevor Lawrence.
He's a bit thinner, but yeah, he's huge dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying that's what he reminds me of, and he's a gamer, and I think he goes into the huddle believing that, hey, stuff's going bad. And we talked about this before the podcast started. I think there was another game earlier in this year where he did the same exact thing, but I haven't looked to know. But I don't think this is the first time that Jaguars were that far down and they came back and won. Maybe it was
against the Ravens
or Indianapolis. I want to say is that wrong? I don't know. I just threw a name out there, but I don't know. We'll have to look that up. But I don't think this is the first time that they were way, way down and they came back in the second half and ended up winning.
They weren't way down against the Ravens, but they were down. But go ahead.
But I do know there was a guy on the Chargers that, what's his name, that was saying that, if he makes a comment about the refs, he gets fined $40,000. But they can make a horrible call that screws up a team's season, and they're in the locker room laughing. So I can't recall what the play was, but apparently the Chargers feel like there was a call that
I'm about to get into that one. That's a good point. But your Jacksonville thing, it was the Cowboys game. They were down 27-10 and clawed their way back and ended up winning in overtime 40-34.
Okay, thank you. I knew there was another one. That's it. But go ahead. Talk about the refs.
All right. So this was an interesting one. Now, obviously the Chargers did enough. I was not impressed by Justin Herbert because Justin Herbert, I thought, completely fell apart in a lot of ways. He didn't have any turnovers, but incomplete pass. Like, he looked scared. Like, he looked like he was scared to lose the lead to finish that game. And you've seen other top-tier quarterbacks, which a lot of people put Justin Herbert in that top echelon, right? Everybody, all the Washington fans, so mad we didn't take Justin Herbert and instead took Chase Young, right? We should have had Herbert. He couldn't finish that game. He couldn't finish it off. And we've seen Pat Mahomes do it, where it's like, yep, I have a lead. I'm going to throw it to this game, right? We've seen in the past Peyton Manning, or we've seen Tom Brady, or we've seen whoever the top echelon of quarterbacks and the time period finish it off with their arm. They didn't have to rely on the run game. They finished it off with their arm.
No, and I was going to. I know we're going to get to this in a second, but they were talking about the Giants game where their coach was like, he's an aggressive coach, and they're like, he has the lead, and he did not change his. He was like, nope, aggressiveness got me here. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm not going into a shell.
The Chargers did the same thing. Well, the Chargers did the same, but Herbert fell apart. Because people were like, why didn't they run the ball? Why didn't they run the ball? It's like, you have supposedly a top 5 quarterback in the game. Mr. number 5 pick, top 5 quarterback. You do it. So it didn't work out for him. But to go to the ref situation, there was one particular play that ended up being quite massive in the game. And there was a false start and I believe a hold. They ended up scoring a touchdown on that play. Jacksonville did. Joey Bosa is so frustrated because he got held and the dude false started. He's walking off the field and he says something kind of like this. Like he's walking, he just kind of turned his head and said something and continued to walk to the sidelines. And instead of the ref just letting it go and let him walk to the sidelines, the ref ran in front, ran to him and started talking smack to him. And so Joey Bosa said something back, and he's like, oh, okay, now I'm going to throw the flag. Like, what are you doing?
Screwed up.
He didn't come to you running at you, screaming in your face. You know, he didn't earn a flag. He didn't touch you. He's walking to his sideline after a play where he's clearly frustrated because the other team scored. Right? And he felt like he got screwed on the play. And you're going to come up to him and talking to his face when it's obviously an extremely emotional moment in the game. Like football, sports in general, has people he said, no, do your job. Yeah, something like that. So he didn't even say something that bad. I had Daryl over here and he was like, he must have said the N-word because the ref was black or something. Like, he was like, that's the only way that made sense. But clearly he didn't. So
no, but I'm more likely to think Skin Them Alive got it right, the word he used.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said that refs don't like the F word, and if he dropped that, then the ref was coming over and saying, you better kowtow to me, and when he said something, he goes, okay, I was going to throw the flag and give you the chance to not say something more, but then he said something more, and then he was like, okay,
yeah, but don't run up to a player's situation. It's one thing when the player runs up to you screaming in your face. Screw that. Flag. Don't come at me like that. That's fine because we want to protect the refs. We don't want these huge human beings, especially offensive linemen or something stupid, coming in highly, hot-headed, screaming in the ref's face and making it seem like they're about to get jacked in the face. That's fine. But for the ref to run around him to get in front of him as he's going to the sideline and yell at him, and then for him to then have to just say something back, and now I get to change this game, and now I get to throw the flag. Like, it's bogus.
Well, but hold on a second. You could take that ways, and I get what you're saying, and maybe that's
this was a different play. Oh, sorry.
Can't argue it.
Justin, that was a different play that he threw the helmet, and he should have got flagged for that. And that was the one that set up the 2-point conversion. But this is a different situation that also changed the game in a lot of ways. But go ahead. Sorry. I just want to make sure that
No,
was
all
stated.
I was going to say is maybe he said, and you can look at it, and again, you know how I feel about the refs, but I'm going to try to argue on their behalf, that maybe he used one magic word, and instead of the ref just standing there and throwing a flag, he ran over in front of him and gave him a chance to recant it, and Bosa didn't. And Bosa was like, really, you're going to do that to me? And he was like, okay, I was going to throw the flag over here, but I came over here because of what you said, and I was going to give you a chance, and you didn't take it, so now I'm throwing the flag. Just playing devil's advocate. I don't know. I think the refs suck more times than not, so. But I try to argue on their behalf.
The refs suck. Yeah. I'm actually about to pull it up, if I can, if it'll let me. My computer doesn't like to play YouTube videos for some reason while I'm streaming. It's very frustrating. But, hold on. I'm watching the ad. Alright. Alright, here we go. This will be good. This will be a good starting point. So this is... Whoa, what is that?
We're waiting with bated breath.
Here we go. Alright. So this is what I'm talking about. So he's frustrated.
So that's 97.
He said something.
Right?
Look, you see how he kind of turned his head and he said something to the ref? This is the ref that's going to get in his face. He's walked by, and the ref runs all the way to him as he's walking to his sideline and starts jawing with him. Bosa's not getting in his face. Yeah.
No, but Tim, I'm telling you, what did he say? He could have said
I don't care. Yeah, no, I feel that, and I understand what you're saying, but I don't. This is the whole point is we don't want the players to run it to the ref's face and go get it. I don't care if he said something under his breath as he's going to the line or going to the sideline. That's not your job. Your job is to try to contain and bring the energy down, bring the stuff down. You're going to go run into the player's face trying to get him upset?
Yeah.
I don't care what he said at that point. You don't do that, just like the player doesn't come into the ref, right? Come screaming into the ref. If the ref then said something afterwards, I don't care what the ref had to say. You don't get into the ref's face. This is kind of how I just, to run, for you to see a guy and then go run into his face and jawing with them, it's like, I want to talk to you. Don't talk to me. Go do your job. Get out of my face. You missed a call. Don't come talk to me. I'm going to my sideline. I don't need to talk to you. Go away. I completely feel Bosa on this situation.
Maybe he said your mama wears combat boots and the ref didn't like that.
It wasn't under his breath. All right, fine. Under his breath is not the right word. But the point is, I don't care what he has to say. If he's going to his sideline, he's going to his sideline. I don't like the refs that take over the game of, you're not allowed to say anything, period.
No, and I get your point. He wasn't showing up. He wasn't showing up the ref. He didn't make animated gesture. He made
said,
a
who are you talking
to
to?
him.
Yeah. Bosa said nothing under his breath. Yeah, under his breath is the wrong word, but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I see your point that he didn't show up, and the video you showed, if the referee didn't react, I wouldn't even known that Bosa said anything.
Right.
It wasn't like he was showing him up or making him, like baseball, they always talk about umpires. You can't show them up.
Yeah.
They don't like that when you show them, so they're going to react. But whatever he said, he wasn't like, and again, I don't think anybody else knew, or that anybody on TV knew he said anything. So,
right. Until the ref ran up to him and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the refs for sure. They use the probable cause excuse. Oh, they're talking about the cop's a different situation. The cop can actually stop you if he wanted to for whatever reason. Well, not for whatever reason, but you get the idea. But anyway, this is not the situation. I think to affect the game that way, that you're going to go freak out at a player that's upset that you missed a call, I think is ridiculous. Unless they're getting into your face and running up to you and then, how did you miss that? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. No. You're not coming at me like that. Get out of my face. Throw the flag. All right, that's one thing. But yeah,
well,
I
still say my favorite ref moment this year was when, I think it was, what was the team where they were on the sideline and the player was in front of the ref and he took his hand and he pushed it, and it was like, we both said, I'm assuming he had a conversation with the ref where he was like, show me what he did. Because do you remember the play I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, where he's
the guy was standing in front of the ref and he takes his hand and pushes him, and it was like, how did he get away with that? And we realized after the fact that the ref said, yeah, show me what he did, and the guy was like, took the ref's head and turned it over.
Yeah, and at first look, you're like, oh my God, he just touched the ref. Like, how did you do that? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, redacted. Yeah. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
The guy was like,
oh shoot, Finkel, sorry. You what? I don't know, you kind of skipped there. But no, he was saying Skin Them Alive is redacted. Redacted is some guy that came in the chat one day that was saying the whole thing's rigged, and it was a whole nonsense situation. But anyway, it was just funny. I get it. All right. It's interesting, though. We're going to see more Trevor Lawrence in this game and against the Chiefs. We'll see if they can make another upset. But yeah, overall, good for Jacksonville. The Chargers are one of the weirdest teams in the NFL for the last 2 decades. On paper, almost every year, they're like one of the most talented teams, and then they find a way to lose when it matters the most, like year in and year out. And they do it again. So Staley might be fired, their head coach. I don't think it's been said yet, but he could be on the chopping block for this loss. But anyway, all right. So, any last words on the Jacksonville game before we move to the Dolphins-Bills?
No, I think we spent plenty of time on that game.
All right. Sorry. Boss texted me one cent. But anyway, here we go. All right. The Bills versus Dolphins. The second of 3 in-division rivalries coming up. And this game was a wild one. Buffalo went up 14-0. It was 17-0. Miami went all the way back to claw their way back into this game. And we're sitting here in a weird one that this game came down to the wire, 34-31, when Miami was starting Skylar Thompson, a rookie, in this game. How'd you feel about this? How in the world was it this close? It was weird.
I know. I always crack up at the head coach of Miami that looks like the nerd in the computer room. But apparently he knows what he's doing, and he's got these guys fired up. What's his name?
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of his name right now. But no, I thought that the Dolphins made – no, the coach.
Oh, Mike McDaniel is the coach. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. But if you look at him, he looks like the nerd in the computer room. He does football guy. He looked like high school that all the football guys used to turn upside down in the trash can. But apparently he knows what the hell he's doing. And I was like,
yeah,
Dolphins don't want to go away. And he's apparently got their ear, and they made a game of it because it looked like a blowout in the first quarter. So, but
yeah, this was a wild.
That's all I gotta say.
And Waddle left so much on the table. Their number 6 overall pick 2 years ago dropped 3 passes in this game, and just he looked horrible. He may have actually had 4 drops. It was kind of sad to watch because the guy has so much talent. He's had such a great couple of years in the league. He flopped in his first playoff game here for Miami, but yeah, you look at the stats of this game. Let me look at this team stats real quick. Buffalo had 423 yards of offense. Miami only had 231. It was nearly a double up of offensive production, yet we're sitting at 34-31. And my biggest takeaway...
Yeah, but what's the turnovers?
Exactly. Is Josh Allen, as great as he is, he has arguably, him and Mahomes are 1A and 1B, the highest ceilings in the league. Their arm strength is unbelievable. Their ability to move, especially Josh Allen's abilities to move, and just how much bigger he is than pretty much everybody else on the field that's trying to tackle him. He's like 6'5", 250 pounds or something. Just a huge human being. He has the ability to just throw so many weird interceptions and have weird turnovers at the worst possible moments. It lost him the Vikings game to come to, but he had 14 interceptions this season. He had 2 more today. Are you worried about Buffalo moving forward, that you can only beat this Miami team with no Tua and a team that you doubled up in yards? You're only beating them by 3 points?
No, I still stand behind my prediction.
You still stand behind your prediction, so you're confident.
Yes.
Are you having trouble hearing me?
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. I got an echo, like a late echo coming through, so maybe my connection's bad tonight, but I can hear you. I'm saying I stand behind. I'm not worried about it. They're going to get right. I don't see anybody else in the AFC that scares me for them, other than maybe the Bengals. I think I made maybe I said the Bengals and the 49ers, but anyway, let's move along.
Let's move along. Excuse me. Yeah, and it was basically Josh Allen's turnovers that kept Miami in this game. Their run game was non-existent in Miami. 20 carries for 42 yards. They did have one touchdown, but 1 yard a carry for this game. Horrible. But yet somehow, and Buffalo was able to run the ball. They had 26 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown. So they actually had over 100 yards rushing. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis both had 114 yards for Diggs, 113 yards for Gabe. Do you remember Khalil Shakir? That name from the last year of the draft?
Do I know?
Yeah, okay. Well, he was a guy that I wanted, and he had I thought he had played really well as their wide receiver number 3. Late round pick. I think he's a 5th round pick out of Boise State. So good for Buffalo. They move on 34-31. They survive. That's all that matters. I guess in the scheme of things, as long as you survive, that's all that matters. You move on from the game. All right, on to your favorite game of the week. Your favorite player in the playoffs, Kirk Cousins. A lot of people predicted this one. A lot of people, all the Kirk fans were saying, look at Kirk, we could have had him, 13-4 record. Well, oh my gosh, we made such a huge mistake. They had a 4th and 8, down by 7, and Kirk Cousins throws a 2-yard pass on 4th and 8. That's what you get with Kirk. How'd you feel about this one?
No, I just I'm trying to remember. Your aunt Jeannie was saying that was it Brian Mitchell that no quarterback likes pressure, but some of them deal with it better than others, and Kirk Cousins does not deal well with pressure. He is, and look, he makes throw. He's a quarterback. He can throw the ball. I'm not saying he's totally inept, but if you watch through that game, there were certain points when it started to get serious that then he tightens up. And in all fairness to him, there was a drop pass. There was a guy going to I forget who it was, but he threw the ball there, and the defender was there, and the guy didn't make the catch. But he's not a pressure guy. I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes in the same position, Josh Allen, probably 2 or 3 other quarterbacks, maybe Aaron Rodgers in that same position with the same talent, makes the play, and they end up tying the game, which is all they could do. Well, unless they go for 2, but you know my point. That he just gets, and I was going to say, enjoyed it, expected it. I know there was people in the Hog Nation on Facebook that were like, "Oh, I'm rooting for Minnesota because I can't stand the Giants." Your cousin actually made a very good point. He's like, "I root for the guys in our division when we're out because that makes our division better. Like, we're a good division." So I kind of follow his philosophy that I wanted the Giants to win because I just felt like Kirk was going to be Kirk.
I wanted the Giants to win because I want the Giants to pay Daniel Jones all that money. I hope Daniel Jones gets another big money coming forward. But no, my thoughts on this game, the Minnesota defense has to be one of the worst defenses in football. It's the worst defense in the playoffs by a country mile. Oh my goodness. They are coached. It's so bad to watch this. It was so easy for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones played well. I have nothing bad to say about Daniel Jones' game. If he plays like that from now on, top notch. But Minnesota could not make it easier on Daniel Jones. They couldn't have done a better job to make it easier.
Cheese defense.
Yeah. Holes for days, and I actually watched a video on it. It's actually kind of interesting. Before this game, I watched a video about this Denver's defense that started at Vic Fangio of this deep cover 2 safeties, and then your corners play off, and it's supposed to like confuse them because you can go into different protection or different coverages and all this blah blah blah, and it ends up just being a horrible defense because you just call underneath plays all day and running the ball, and it just is easy to destroy, and that's exactly what Brian Dable did with New York. I thought it was a masterclass by the play caller to just destroy a bad defense. So, love to see it for Daniel Jones. I hope you play well from here on out to make as much money as possible. Kirk Cousins, I thought Kirk played overall pretty darn good. I mean, you 31 through 39, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns. The offense was not the problem. Because also at one point, I think in this game, if I remember right, in this game, it was nuts of how long drives were lasting. And
both sides.
They only had, on both sides. It was deep in the third quarter, and they were only on their, 6th drive. No, not even. Minnesota had 1, 2, 3, 4. They were in the third quarter, halfway through, and they're only on their 5th drive of the game. And I'm like, 21 points in 5 drives is pretty good. You're scoring a touchdown on 60% of your drives.
Well, and
Go ahead.
I was just cracking up with the announcer saying about how many game-winning drives Kirk Cousins has had. I want to know how many game-winning drives Kirk Cousins has had when it mattered. When it was win or go home. And his record is not good.
True.
Right?
True.
I mean...
Well, I don't know. His record might be decent now.
Indianapolis...
But... Mm-hmm.
No, but when Indianapolis was up by
33,
20-some points, I
it was
forget
33.
What it was.
And
they came back and won.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another game. The Redskins, when they played, they should have been down 17, but we had that discussion. But they come back. But when it gets to December and January, then it's like, ooh. Now it really matters. And I want to say in playoff games, his record is not good.
I thought he actually played a really good game. I don't have much bad to say about Kirk other than I think it's hilarious on 4th and 8. You need it. And he just quickly throws it into the flat for a 2-3 yard gain. Like TJ Hawkinson had no
he was
chance.
Banking on? Yeah, but I know what he's banking on. What he banks on with Jefferson is I'm just going to throw out there and let the guy make a play, and he made a bad decision.
Well,
Earlier
Justin Jefferson would have been one thing, but he threw it to his tight end. Yeah, but go ahead.
No,
sorry.
I'm just saying. But the other one, when it was the game he came back on, and he throws a ridiculously high ball, and Jefferson goes up and makes an acrobatic catch, and they're like, oh, Kirk Cousins is great. It's like, no, he's used to letting his guys make the plays, and he made it was like, oh, let me drop it down to this guy. And like you said, it's like, this isn't a playmaker. He ain't making 8 yards out of 3. But anyway.
True.
That's all I got to say about that.
True. All right, on to the last division opponents before we get into the Cowboys game, Baltimore versus Cincinnati. And most people had Cincinnati winning this game by a ton. No Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow and company are going to be just running them out of the water. There was one play in this game that changed everything. Baltimore could have been the winner. Yeah, the play. And it's insane. Tim, are you going to ignore that Kirk was about to get absolutely destroyed on that 4th down? I mean, I have to look back at it, but I mean, it's still, I don't care if you're about to get it destroyed or not. You have to throw the ball deep and give Justin Jefferson a chance. Don't throw it in 3 yards when the linebacker's literally tackling your dude already, basically. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're on to the next game.
No, it's hilarious. That play you're talking about, the
Yeah.
defender went up and just smacked. The guy was like, let me reach out, and the defender was like, nope.
Yeah. Easy monies.
And then the
So,
lineman got the ball
yeah.
and turned around and started running. But go ahead.
No, yeah, that play by Huntley, and he's getting a lot of crap on it about it. It's tough because he was like a full yard and a half out rather than just being a yard out from scoring that touchdown. And he tried to jump over the pile, and yeah, Wilson, to your point, just smacked it out of his hand. Hubbard got it. It probably should have been a block in the back. Like, Mark Andrews hustled to try to get that tackle, and he just gets shoved right in the back of the shoulder to fall down, and Sam Hubbard ends up scoring that touchdown. But the Bengals were in trouble that game. They were in trouble. If it wasn't for that play making a 14-point swing, like, Joe Burrow only had 209 yards and 1 touchdown. They had no run game to speak of. 18 carries, right. 51 yards. They got pretty fortunate with that one crazy play.
I was reminded of, I think it was Collins, the Redskins quarterback, when it was like 4th and short, but he wasn't at the goal line. And I don't know if you remember this play, but he basically did a quarterback sneak. He jumped up and he put the ball out in front of him like he was on the goal line. Like if he got the first down, if he crossed the plane of the first down, the play was dead. But he jumped out like that, and of course the defenders came through and took the ball away from him, and they were like, it was not a goal line stand, it was a 4th and 1. But he did this, like, that's what it reminded me of, because he was way short. But you're right.
Yeah.
But it made my day.
That was dangerous. I thought Huntley played excuse me. I thought Huntley played pretty decent considering the circumstances. He's not a great player. He's okay. But as far as this game is concerned, I thought Baltimore's defense looked.
Justin saying Todd Collins, was that?
Yeah, Todd Collins was back in 2007 when Sean passed. Todd Collins was there, maybe. But I think we also had the Kerry Collins, or was it Gary Collins? Okay. Kerry Collins. I think there was another Collins quarterback that we also had at some point. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was Todd Collins. I want to say you're right, like Kerry Collins or something. But anyway, the Cowboys Buccaneers game we should spend like 5 seconds on. Tampa Bay's offense sucks. And that's all I got to say about it. So whatever else you want to say, there's I thought we were done, but
well, the one thing I just wanted to say real quick.
We can talk about okay.
Was that play may have made Lamar money. Right? Because what if Baltimore what if Baltimore wins this game? Lamar, you're not worth that much. We can win without you. We can win playoff games without you. You're not worth $50 million.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Now, talk about it. One play changed everything.
I get it.
Yeah, but one play literally changed everything. Because now the players, I heard J.K. Dobbins said, if we had Lamar, we would have won that game. Right? Like, so now even the players are thinking, like, you have to go get Lamar. Like, why is Lamar not paid yet? Kind of thing. So it's gonna be a heck of a thing. But Joe Burrow and company.
Yeah.
They
by the
also
way, Lamar. I was going to say Lamar wouldn't make that play either with the play they ran, and maybe the quarterback made that call. But if that's the offensive coordinator going, yeah, jump over the top and try to get it to the end zone when you're a yard and a half out. That was Lamar doesn't make that play either. But I get your point. It's a valid point. He's going like, can't win without me. But okay.
All right, the last game, the good old Dallas Cowboys taking on Tom Brady and the Bucs. Tom Brady was 8-0 against the Cowboys before this. He falls to 8-1, and he fell hard. He looked horrible in this game, inaccurate, just all over the place. Like he didn't look like he was on the same page with his receivers at all. It was bad. in this game for Tom. No, we've never seen him play worse almost, especially in a playoff game. And they get dismantled. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott, 25 for 33, 305, 4 tugs. They were looking good on offense. Bucks were looking terrible. But the real story all from this game, what do the Cowboys do at kicker?
I think they stay with him. I think it was a bad game. If you look at his record for the season.
You think it was a bad game?
No. Well, let me think about that for a little bit. Yes. But I'm just saying his record for the season was really, really good. He just had a bad game, but it didn't matter.
True.
So he made the last point. To your point, you got to keep him in there to make one because he's going to be back. And I think the next time he comes out there, he's going to be 100%. He's going to be like the ghost. He's chased a ghost out of his mind. And I mean, if it was a close game and they lost it.
Yeah. I'm nervous about it for the Cowboys. As in, like, I not that nervous, like, as in, like, I actually care. I hope the Cowboys lose. That'd be fun. But I would be nervous if I was them because kicking is like all the kickers have legs. It's strong legs, and they can do things with the kicking a ball that other people can only.
It's all up here.
80-90% mental. I'd actually be kind of curious what Pat McAfee would have to say about this because he was a kicker. But I would be nervous because this is going to be in his head every time. Hopefully it doesn't hang out too hard and maybe he can overcome it because that's what a kicker has to do. But 4 missed,
no, my
5
prediction
in a row.
Is my prediction is with the 49ers, the kicker is not going to be the problem.
They're going to
might
lose be a fair point.
Big time.
Yeah. And he'll miss one kick and they're going to blame him for it. If we had a kicker, we would. Dude, you lost 41-21.
Yeah, it'd be. Right. I was going to say 41-18. Well, it could have been 41-21.
Yep, that's too funny. All right. Well, yeah, Tom Brady. Do you think Tom Brady retires? Do you think this was the last game we ever seen of him?
No, I like the meme that said Tom Brady calls Giselle and said, "Hey, I made a terrible mistake." But, no, I thought that was funny.
I think he still plays.
I don't know.
I think he goes somewhere.
I think
whether it be in Tampa or what. Yeah, they might be. You're right. I don't know what direction they go with though.
In all fairness to Tom Brady, I think Bruce Arians was a difference maker there. Todd Bowles and Leftwich are just not. I mean, Tom Brady jumped on a team that was a juggernaut and was able to run the team and make them. Defense started out good, but their defense faltered. Their offensive line sucked. Tom Brady didn't have a lot of time to look. Missed, not defending them, missed the shots that he did have, but. I just think that Bruce Arians gone, the coaching staff is gone, and that makes a big difference.
True.
Just my opinion. Right. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that.
All right, let's go ahead and just predict these 4 games real quick. We'll do Weddle and we'll get out of here. So, Jaguars or Chiefs? I got Chiefs.
I think the Jaguars. No, I think the Jaguars run. They hit a wall, and the Chiefs win.
All right, Giants Eagles.
I'll go the same way. I think the Eagles win.
Me too. I got
Giants
Chiefs Eagles. Bills Bengals.
Damn, I might want to change my picks because. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dad was 100% on those games. He picked every single game in the week 1, so he's got a streak to uphold. I lost 3, so I have no fear. I'm just going. But go ahead.
Yeah, so now I'm following you, and I'm thinking, uh-oh. So what was the third game? Sorry.
Bills Bengals.
Man, I want to choose the Bengals, but I'm going to go with the Bills.
All right, I got the Bengals. I changed that.
Oh, good.
Once Tampa lost, I'm going away from my Super Bowl prediction completely. I got the Bengals now. Niners, Cowboys. We both agreed the Niners are gonna
The Niners are
the
going to
Cowboys. Yep. All right, let's do this Weddle and get out of here, shall we? Shall we? All right.
Have I called Sam Howell before?
Maybe. I don't know. Do you want to go that way or do you want to go somewhere else?
No, let's go with Sam Howell.
Sam.
Maybe I already did that last week.
Howell. All right, we're in the NFC, but not the NFC East. We're short, so probably receiver. Oh, no. Okay, let's see. Let's go with... It's a higher number, though. 14 or 20 or older player. I mean, there's a lot of different directions we can go with, so let's just go with... Anybody, Tim? First, don't hold back. I'm going to go with Amon St. Brown.
Really? You're pulling that one?
All right, it's not a receiver.
6 feet, NFC East or North. So it's the NFC South or West, right?
Yep, either South or West. So I'm going to go with... There's a lot of different directions we can go here. Let's go running back. I'm going to go Cam Akers. No, he's a low number. Hold on. He's a low number. I think it's a running back, though. So I'm going to go with... No, everybody I'm thinking of is like low number or a young player. I got to think of somebody. Let's go with Henderson. Oh, he's not even in the league? Or not even in this thing anymore? That's crazy. South. Who's in the South? It's only 6 foot, too. There's so many different directions we can go with here.
Must be running back.
Mike Davis, maybe? What? No?
NFC South.
I don't know why I'm... Oh, wait. Let's just go Alvin Kamara. That's a good guess. All right. It gets us somewhere. We are in the South. We're in the South. 6 foot, 25 or 26 years old. In the South. Foreman? Is Foreman only 6 foot? He is. Deontay Foreman. All right. There we go. Deontay Foreman. All right, where are we starting with hard mode?
Have we done Bosa before? I was thinking Bosa and the refs.
Okay, so Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we got 6'5", not a defender. We're not in the AFC.
Not
so
AFC.
Probably a quarterback. Let's go with...
What about Micah Parsons? Is he that tall?
No,
or is he...
we can't go. We can't. It's not a defensive player. Excuse me. Let's go with Trent Williams. No, he's too old because it's only barely there.
Oh, you're right. It's
NFC. I want to go with one of the linemen. Who's a 28? Let's go with Martin. Zach Martin. It is a guard.
So
okay.
NFC, but not the East.
And we're looking at a guard. But a 28 or 29.
NFC, but not the East.
Yeah, not the East. There's a lot of different ones out there we can go with. It's not the East, though. West. Tooney? Oh, Tooney's a... Wait, is Tooney... Where's Tooney playing right now? Let's go with... We did this last time. This was not a... This is not going to be it because he's been it before, but let's just... Oh, wait, Dickinson was a center? Oh, Andy's on the East. That was a terrible guess. Like, it could not be a worse guess that I just threw out there. That was the biggest waste of time I've ever had. I just wanted to keep going, basically, is all. Excuse me. Man, I'm just like, I'm thinking of other teams like guards, and I'm not coming up with anything. Is like Ragnow a guard? No, he's a center as well. But it's not the North. That at least gives us something here. Not the North. So we're in the South. Oh, what about Brown? Deontay Brown. Okay, we're in the South. We're in the South.
But not Carolina.
Not Carolina.
Is that a Jacksonville player?
No, Jacksonville's AFC South.
They
Can we get
AFC.
Tampa? Yeah,
Okay.
Tampa, Saints, or the Falcons. It's full of answers tonight. Yeah. Tim, if you were wrong 75% last weekend,
All the wrong answers.
I firmly believe Snyder will keep the team. Ron will be able to get to the extension. I was wrong 50%. I got 3 games wrong out of the, so I was 50% wrong last week. Why can't I think of who in the world is on the Saints line right now? Or the I should also know the Patriots. Not the Patriots, the Bucks. I just did the Bucks game, and I can't think of any of their names. They were terrible. They were bad. Give me some guards on the Bucks. If you're looking at those teams.
Trying to find somebody that's 6'5".
I don't even care.
No,
Just give me somebody.
I'm trying to find somebody. All right, Tampa Bay. Hold on, give me a second. Robert
Quessenberry. Gosh, that was the name I wanted to say so bad. Crap, is he Devin or is he Scott? Or sorry, not Devin. David or Scott? Look at Quessenberry. For Tampa.
No,
Is it David or Scott? I'm going to David. Dang it! It was the other one. No, it's not him either! Oh, you screwed me. I thought Quessenberry was the guy.
What about Luke?
Crap.
What about Luke Godkey?
Godkey! That's one. It's not on Tampa Bay. We have 2 more guesses. Oh, gosh. All right, so it's Atlanta or the Saints.
My God.
And I don't even remember any other guards right now. I can't think of one guard.
So sorry, it's the Saints or who?
Or Atlanta. Just pick one. Go pick somebody on the Saints.
Hold on. Lewis Kidd, but he's 6'6", so it's not.
Okay.
So hold up to guess.
So you're on the Saints, right?
Andrus Pete. Let's see what his height is.
Oh, Pete is a good guess.
No, he's 6'7".
Oh, jeez. Lindstrom. I'm going to go Lindstrom.
Reese.
Chris Lindstrom. Nope. It is on Atlanta, though. Okay, so it's one of the Atlanta dudes. It's one of the Atlanta guys.
Let's see. Justin Schaefer. Hold on. Let me see who's. We're looking for.
Oh my gosh. I don't see a single person on their depth chart that's 6'5".
Justin Schaefer. Hold on.
We're so screwed.
I don't either. What about oh, this is a punter. Pinion Bradley is 6'5".
It's a guard. What up, dude? O-lineman should be eliminated from this game. Why gives the...
What about Jake Matthews?
Jake Matthews is a tackle. It's a guard. We need a guard. None of their guards are 6'5", or at least listed that way on this thing.
Kobe Gossett.
There it is. I don't know why I misread that before. Colby, and he is a guard. That's got to be it. Yes! We got it. No, we lost! We lost! It's the first loss ever! We lost! It was Jermaine Ifedi. He's not even on the depth chart! They got us hard. Who is this guy? Jermaine Ifedi. Who? Jermaine Ifedi. Who is this?
I don't even see him on their roster.
He's a tackle. Jermaine Ifedi is a tackle.
I still don't even see him on their roster, period.
No, he's on the roster. There he is. He's the backup right tackle. Oh, that is cheap. On his Wikipedia page, he's a tackle. Did he play guard in college? No, he played tackle for the Falcons. He was a first-round pick for Texas A&M. Did he play tackle? Ifedi started right guard all 13 season games. No, replaced. Well, he played tackle.
On the website I'm on, this is the Atlanta Falcons roster. I don't see him on the roster or on the injured reserve, period.
I have him on the ESPN depth chart. I do have him there.
All right, well.
So he's right here. He's the backup tackle. But if you look at his Wikipedia page, he's American football offensive tackle for the Falcons. This is horse manure.
By the way, Abdullah asks you a question. What if Sam Howell flops?
Oh. Super chat. Abdullah with another one. What's up, Abdullah? All right, I'll answer this, and then we're going to get out of here. Tim, what if Sam Howell flops, which probably will happen? What do we do? Our season will be shot to heck. I personally don't care. And here's why. If Sam Howell's not the answer, then I want Ron fired, and I want to go all in on a quarterback in next year's draft with Ben Johnson as my head coach. I don't want to waste more draft picks. I don't want to waste more draft capital on a Ron Rivera project who clearly has no ability to scout a quarterback. He doesn't understand how a quarterback position because Sam Howell should have been playing much sooner if he understood how to do that because clearly he was good. But here we are. That's where I want to do. I want to go with Sam Howell because it's okay if he flops because then we go all in next year for a quarterback. But I appreciate the super chat very much. But we went over because that last Weddle game took a while, and they screwed us with a complete lie. But it is what it is. But I appreciate all of you in the chat. We will be back this weekend.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
Yes. All right. Well, any last words?
Nope.
All right, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also in the description below, there's a Discord link. Hop on our Discord and come talk some football with us. Last but not least, there are donation links and ways to support the channel, like joining the channel in the description below. Come support the channel, get some emojis that you can use in the chat, and support us in our endeavors here. Thanks for being here, and until next time, see ya!